Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Crow, what has happened to it recently, and where we think the price is going to go to in the near future, with some key price levels and trades we're looking to make. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the daily analysis on this channel and you're one of the 86% of people that watch my videos that are not yet subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. So without further ado, let's get the annotations back on the screen here on Crow, and let's start off with what has happened recently, and then we'll move on to a price prediction here on Crow. So basically, here on Crow at the moment, for the past several days, we've been, as you can see visually, just been in some sort of downwards trend. We can kind of describe this downwards trend being defined by this trend line that connects the tops of the price since the 7th of December here. And this trend line has several tests here now. So 1, 2, 3, where the 3 times where the price has come to test it and has been rejected. And of course, we know that this is quite reliable as well, because the price of Crow actually did manage to drop below our purple support. So if I just zoom out for a brief second there, you guys can see that this purple support has held the price up on Crow since the 14th of November, a long-term support here on Crow, where the price has come down to touch it several times, and each time has pumped straight back up. So this is supposed to be our reliable support on Crow, but of course, as you can see over the past several hours, the price has actually just dropped below with quite a lot of momentum, quite a lot of volume, as you can see with the volume indicator down here below this purple support. And this blue line was victorious. This blue bearish resistance line has suppressed the price of Crow here, and it looks like that we're going to be heading towards 5.9 cents in the near future, unless we can do something about this blue resistance line. So those are my initial thoughts here. Of course, we have this 100-hour moving average as well, which kind of supports the notion of this downwards trend. You can see here that the price has come up on several occasions to try and test our 100-hour moving average, a big determinant of trend, but each time it does get rejected, and now prices are well below our 100 moving average here. They were previously just wiggling. Previously, the price was just wiggling in and out of this moving average. The trend was kind of more sideways, but now we're in a more convincing downtrend, and we need to break the 100-hour moving average and this trend line in order to change that. And so unless that happens, what I really would expect is 5.9 cents to be hit here on Crow. And if that doesn't hold, then our next level down is around this 5.5 cents here on Crow. This is the ultimate low, the ultimate support here on Crow before we go into no man's land, in the sense that the prices have not gone down below this level in recent times in Crow. So we really need to keep 5.5 cents here. And so these are the two major levels on the downside that I'll be looking to if the prices continue to go down. Now, of course, heading into tomorrow as well, we have a very important day for Crow. In fact, not just for Crow, for the whole of cryptocurrency, because tomorrow we have a big report coming out, which is the inflation rate data. And that inflation rate data will have a massive effect on the price of Crow here. So if I just show you a quick example as to what happened to Crow last time an inflation rate data came out, we can see that I think it was the 10th of November. So this region here, basically what we saw was a better than expected inflation rate report on the 10th of November when it came out. And we saw prices come from around this level here on Crow, 8.6 cents. And by 2-3 hours time, we saw a pump of 11%. So in this context here, as Crow was coming down from that FTX fallout, it doesn't look all too grand. But if we translate that to what that could look like today, so if we see a better than expected inflation report and we see the same 11% pump, that would take prices all the way to 6.8 cents. And that's from 6.18 cents as it is right now. And again, if we see the prices, if we see a worse than expected inflation report, then that same 11% drop will take the prices right down to our 5.5 cents level. So it is quite a big deal when it does come out, particularly as you saw from November's inflation rate report. And so what we really want to be doing tomorrow is, when the inflation rate comes out, is seeing whether it's better or worse than expected. And we can do that by going onto tradingeconomics.com. It's a really great website, and basically what you want to do is go on the calendar and look for the inflation rate reports coming on the calendar. And basically what we have is a value for the previous inflation rate report. So we want to look at the core inflation and just the normal inflation there, and the values here were 6.3% and 7.7%. Now we have a consensus as well what experts and analysts think the inflation is going to be this time round. And for the core inflation, that should be 6.1%, and for the normal inflation, that's 7.3%. So what we want to do is look out in this column here, which is when the inflation data comes out, we want to look into this column and we want to see numbers that are smaller than these predicted numbers. So for example, if we see 5.9% for the core inflation and we see 7% for normal inflation here, that's lower than these two numbers. So that would be really good for the CRO price. We would see something similar to that 11% pump, in my opinion, if we see something of that magnitude, a good inflation rate report. But if we see, say, 6.3% here and 7.6% here, then that would be really bad, and that would probably equate to CRO dumping down to about 5.5 cents. So like I say, an 11% drop in either direction. So that's coming out at 2:30 p.m. my time. I think that's going to be 1:30 p.m. UTC. And so really, at least several minutes before this data comes out, I'm going to be on my computer screen and I will have my eyes glued on the charts and what this comes out as, because this updates in real time, and basically whatever happens, there will be a lot of volatility on there and there'll be some awesome trading opportunities, particularly because there'll be a large swing of price in a short amount of time. So it's definitely going to be a big opportunity tomorrow, and I will be making videos throughout on my channel leading up to that inflation rate reports. Be sure to check into my channel for that. And on top of everything to do with CRO as well, everything is kind of hanging in the balance because, as we know, Bitcoin is the largest cryptocurrency, and therefore Bitcoin really has a big effect on what altcoins such as CRO does. And so if we see a large price move on Bitcoin, the chances are it's going to be reflected on altcoins such as CRO. And at the moment, Bitcoin is showing this bearish rising wedge pattern. Basically, there's two trend lines, one connecting the highs of the price, one connecting the lows of the price, and both trend lines are heading in the same direction. Now, this is a bearish pattern because we would expect to see a breakout to the downside, and we can get a price target from this rising wedge as the first test of support and resistance. The distance between the two, we just get our measuring tool to where we see a breakout, and we get a price target at the bottom here of our measuring tool of 15,300. So if this actually does end up playing out, then we'd expect that to be our price target on Bitcoin. Now, I do expect the inflation data to kind of kick it in the right direction. If it is worse than expected, the prices of Bitcoin will definitely, in my opinion, head down to this 15,300 level. Of course, if the inflation is better than expected, then this could be invalidated, and we could see prices on Bitcoin head well above this rising wedge and just invalidate the whole pattern. But what I'd expect to see if the inflation rate is worse than expected by any amount, so even 0.1% worse than what the consensus is, then that will be the kind of catalyst I reckon Bitcoin would need in order to head down to that 15,300 level. And so in my opinion, this fact that we're seeing the rising wedge on Bitcoin, the fact that we have seen some sort of breakout from that rising wedge within the past few hours here on Bitcoin is kind of going to add this bearish bias onto CRO as well. So I think it's going to be easier for CRO to head in some sort of bearish direction. Of course, if we see better than expected inflation, then that's going to be invalidated, and we can see a more bullish trend occur here on CRO as prices pump through this blue trend line and this 100-hour moving average. So those are kind of really my thoughts. Of course, everything hangs in the balance at the moment because everyone's waiting for that inflation rate report to come out. There isn't going to be too much volatility until tomorrow, in my opinion. So right now, I think CRO, for the remainder of the day and into tomorrow, will probably just do something like this. And the inflation rate data will decide whether CRO does something like this downwards or something like this in the upwards direction. And I still believe the magnitude of that will probably be around 11% in either direction. So those are kind of my thoughts at the moment, and that's pretty much all I have to say within this video. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If it was, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in my next